Guys, welcome to X Factor RTO. My name is Olivia. I'm your trainer. So we've got Josh, Ashley, Andre, and Velma, and you're all from DMS. Yeah, excellent. So you guys have already done the three sessions as part of the how to operate digital devices, and my understanding is that you guys would like to have recognized prior learning for your healthy work practices training. So I'm going to run through with you guys what or recognized previous learning or RPL encompasses. Okay, so really important that you understand what's going on with this process. It's not always very clear to the learners as to what it is that you need to understand. So I'm going to run through that with you in this little session. Okay, so what is RPL or recognized previous learning? It is a process used to assess competency acquired through formal and informal learning to determine if a student meets the requirement of a unit of study. So at X Factor RTO, we offer recognition of RPL to assess your students' skills, knowledge, and experience to ascertain if you meet competency requirements for the unit. So the skills, knowledge, and experience relates to work experience and learning in Australia or overseas, and it includes your life experience and other activities such as volunteering. So I know some of you guys have had previous experiences in your workplace and some in your private lives that you can bring through journals and things like that. So we'll run through all of these things. So if you feel that the skills, knowledge, and practical experience that you've acquired allow you to demonstrate the competency requirements for this unit of study, then you can consider lodging an application for RPL using the kit that we can supply to you. Okay, so the competency that you're looking at being assessed for this assessment kit, it's been aligned against a unit of competency for the business skills training package. So lots of training packages with training organizations. And this specific one is BSB PEF 201, which is support personal well-being in the workplace. So your employer, Ben Summers, has asked that we provide this training for you, what you're looking for RPL. So we need to run through what you need to provide. So this course recognizes the factors that impact on personal well-being, plan communication with your supervisor, how to communicate with the supervisor, and how to investigate available well-being resources that you can access. So if you want to have a full look at what is involved in this unit, you can go to the TGA website, so the training.gov.au. You do get trainer and assessor support while you're going through this process. So we recommend that you speak to your trainer, which is me, and your assessor prior to completing this kit to discuss any queries. So you think you've collected everything, you should talk to us first before you actually submit it to make sure you've covered up on everything. So our recommendations, and these are only recommendations, they're not mandates, but we recommend that you have the support of your supervisor or manager, which you do, because Ben said he will assist you in compiling your RPL application, and you can use the following points to guide the discussions with your supervisor or manager. So you can discuss the assessment requirements and how your supervisor can support you. So by completing a third-party report, that's a really good way to say, yes, they've seen you apply these skills in the workplace already. You can identify the evidence requirements and resources and support needed to complete the RPL evidence by agreeing to a plan of action for successful completion within the timeframes. This can't go on for ages. We need you to be pretty succinct about how you actually do the application. The technical tools check for this, in order for you to complete the assessment, you need access to a computer with internet access. You need word processing and spreadsheet software, plus other relevant programs to develop the documentation that we need to say that you're proven that you have already done this work. You may also need a smartphone or other audio recording device as well. So the purpose of RPL, of recognized previous learning, is to allow you to make a submission to show that you've already done these things before. So the items that we need you to send through, they need to be authentic, valid, sufficient, and current. So by authentic, we mean it's your own work. You haven't supplied somebody else's work. Valid means that it's related to what we've actually asked you to relate it to. So if you sent through and said, oh, here's some IT skills I have, that doesn't relate to this unit of competency. It needs to be sufficient. So we need to have an appropriate quantity and quality. So sometimes people will give us one piece of evidence, and that's not enough to quantify to show that you've actually covered off in that unit. And then sometimes people will just go, oh, there's a big massive folder. That's not going to cut the mustard either. So it needs to be appropriate for what we're looking at, and needs to be current. So it needs to be pretty recent. You can't be supplying me something that was done 10 years ago, because that's not up to date. And we need to make sure with our vet training that that's what we're supplying, current, up to date skills. So it's recommended that you submit your RPL within 7 to 14 days of it being signed by your training provider, to allow sufficient time for you to submit any further evidence or complete the standard of unit if your RPL application is unsuccessful. You should always ensure that you submit your RPL assessment along with all supporting documents at least 3 weeks prior to your course enrolment end date. So that 3 weeks gives you extra time to be able to submit again if you need to. So with the assessment submission and feedback, you can submit your RPL through your assessor, which is me, by emailing it directly. And once submitted, your RPL assessment will be assessed and feedback returned to you via email directly to your trainer, and this will be recorded on your learner management portal. It's advisable for you to keep a copy of your work, as the student assessment materials will be deleted 6 months post-graduation from our system. So that's our legal requirement, is to hold on to your materials for 6 months. Upon completion of all of the assessment requirements, you'll receive an overall assessment of either competent or not yet competent for the unit of competency. If your submission for RPL is not granted, you'll be required to complete a standard assessment for the selected course. So you'll just have to go through the course in its entirety. Upon successful completion and being deemed competent, you'll be eligible for a statement of attainment, which means you'll have a certificate. You'll be enrolled in a full qualification, and you'll be issued with a certificate and transcript upon completion of all of your units. So, excuse me. The submission instructions are: you need to submit via the learner portal. You zip all your goods. They're in they're correctly named file format. You email it to your assessor and it'll be assessed. And there's a reasonable adjustment there as well. So, for example, Ashley, with your wrist impingement, if you were trying to write things out, then maybe we could just have you dictate instead.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So you can use the dictate feature on Word. Josh, I don't think you should just be able to collect all of these things, so it shouldn't be too onerous on you, and you'll be able to take breaks for your back at any stage. So does anybody have any questions about anything that they need to know with regards to supplying? And we'll give you a kit. And in the kit, it will tell you exactly what we need. There'll be knowledge questions. There'll be a declaration from your employer to say that you got these skills covered off. And you'll also be asked to supply a list of documentation that answers to the criteria within the unit. Everybody happy with that?
Yep.
There will be in your learner packs, there'll be options in there if you're not happy with the outcomes. And all of the policies and procedures will be named off in the email that's sent through to you as well. Everybody happy with that?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.